Hey, welcome back to part 2 of this conversation that I had with my baby sister talking about book 2, The Great Hunt of the Wheel of Time. So yeah, if you didn't watch part 1, go watch that one. But this is the second half of this conversation that we had discussing book 2, her thoughts on the books, and of course comparisons between book 2 and season 2 of The Wheel of Time. So yeah, let's just get into this.
Let's be nerdy with Let's Be Nerdy. Let's be nerdy with Let's Be Nerdy.
Oh, Rand being a lord was hilarious.
Yeah. Lord Rand.
Yeah, that was hilarious. I was like, that was like maybe a one half of like a 2-minute episode in the show where like Celine took him to that banquet
with the invitations when he's burning the invitations. That's one of my favorite things from that book. How that it works perfectly. Like he does something stupid, and then it causes him a huge problem. But then it solves the problem. Like, it's Ta'Veren. It works so perfectly. And there's like a little hint to it in the show where he burns an invitation, but
I can't remember that now.
Yeah, but, you wouldn't have. Like, it's one of it's what you said before. It's like, because I've read the books, you said this to me, like, because you've read the books, you see things that I don't see. Yeah. When you go back and watch, you'll see it. Like, there's just a moment he burns an invitation that if you don't know that to look for that, you're like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Loyal. That was so funny when Loyal was scared about getting married. I thought that was hilarious. He was so stressed out about potentially getting married. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, to be fair, when I heard, because I think I sent you that message before I got further in that chapter, when I heard about how Ogiers get married, then I was like, okay, maybe I understand. Yeah. Maybe I understand why he's stressed out.
He doesn't really have a choice. He doesn't really.
Yeah. It sounds a little bit ridiculous. Mm-hmm. But would solve a lot of problems because men don't know what they want.
Oh my gosh, you sound like the women in the books.
They have a good point. Look at Rand. Look at Rand.
That's true.
Look at Rand.
Rand does not seem to know what he wants. Yes.
Rand is a hot mess.
I want to ask you about Liandrin. Liandrin in the books versus Liandrin in the show. What are your thoughts on that change? Like, Liandrin in the books to me doesn't really.
I don't like her.
Yeah, she's just.
I don't like
evil.
her. I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like her anyways. I don't like her any which ways.
You didn't like her in the show?
No. Okay. I thought she overdid it for her dying. Okay. She overdid it. Like, you're trying to save your crippled, elderly, he probably wants to kick the bucket son. Like, no. And she got way too sensitive when Nynaeve saw her son.
Yeah.
I think she's a phenomenal actress. But I don't like her. Okay. I don't like her.
I mean, obviously she's evil. Like, I don't like, she sold my Egwen into slavery. I'm not really a fan of that. That is bad. She's a bad person. I found her fascinating in the show. Like, I thought I think
she is a better, if I had to like one of them, it would be the one in the show.
Yeah. She's a more interesting character. Yeah. I feel like in the book, she's like a mustache twirling villain. She's just like, I'm evil.
Yeah, and it came out of nowhere in the book. Like, it was no lead up to it. It was no build. Like, there was no relationship building. Like, in the show, there was a relationship building. Like, it was her who did the testing of Nynaeve's strength. It wasn't the queen, not the queen. What's
Amyrlin.
The Amyrlin. It wasn't the Amyrlin. It was her. It wasn't. And there was things, and she was the one teaching them. And it was like, so there was a buildup of a relationship, which made it more sense to me.
Yeah.
And yes, she does have more screen time, and she is more interesting. But I don't like her. I don't like her.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I like her. I don't want
to fight her.
I don't want to meet her. I also would want to fight her, but I I want to know everything about her because she's interesting to me. Just like,
I think
so
it could have
interesting.
a better backstory because I find it really makes no sense that she wants to save her very,
old
very
ass
elderly.
son.
If it was a young son or like middle age, like he's dying of old age, he's having a normal exit of life. Get over it. Move on. Not I shouldn't be so heartless.
You probably shouldn't be. No. But
I mean, like it doesn't. Like he's had a full life.
That's what Lanfear was saying. Like, this is not life; it's miserable. I wonder. Like, I don't know if the show will ever talk about this. They might just leave it as it is. But I do wonder if it's like a monkey's paw situation. Like, do you know the monkey's paw? The idea of the monkey's paw is this cursed item where you can make a wish on it. It's like from some mythology. I don't know. You make a wish on it and it will give you what you want, but it will give it to you in the worst way possible. So I like wonder if it's a case of like, Ishamael was like, absolutely, I'll make sure your son lives if you join the dark. And she was like, yes. And then he was just like, yeah, he'll just live forever in this old ass body. Like, but she's like maybe clinging to it, maybe thinking, if I do really well, maybe he'll fix him or something.
What I do wonder is they haven't explained in the book why she's a dark friend, unless I missed.
No, they didn't explain it. Yeah, no, they didn't explain it. Yeah, at least not. You're in book 2, so at least not as of yet. So yeah.
But oh god, what's his name? The peddler,
Padan Fain.
Padan Fain. There's more to him in the book. A lot more.
Yes, that is.
And
that
he's
is something.
Apparently gonna turn into a pretty dark person. Like he's apparently like there was something in the end of the book that they're saying they were thankful that they didn't encounter him because he's something much worse, because he's the essence of some dark lord or something is in him now, and he is something.
So you remember the city where Matt picked up that dagger?
Yeah.
Padan Fain went into Mordeth.
Yeah, Mordeth.
So Padan Fain went into that city as well, and Mordeth latched on to Padan Fain. So Padan Fain is he was a dark friend already. Like, he brought the Trollocs into Emond's Field in book 1. He was already evil, and now he's got that attached to him as well.
Yeah.
So he is. That is something, like, I am not the only one. There's a lot of us who are, like, book fans who are like, I don't know what the show is doing with Padan Fain. I can't.
Because right he kind of almost seems like a joke. He seems kind of like an afterthought, or like a nuisance, like a beggar almost.
He's like in the show. To me, he's just like a regular dark friend. He's not anything special. The show gave us that scene of the Murdral, the Fade, nailed to the door, right? Like, we saw that in the show. Yeah. And in the book, that happens as well. But in the book, part of what that is to show us what, like, Fain is something different. Like, he can kill a Murdral, like that. Whereas in the show, it was just like a thing that happened, and we never get any. Yeah. And so that, like, I'm left wondering. I don't know what the show is doing. So I made a video that you can't watch about, like, things I like, things I didn't like, and then things the term I used was reserving judgment, and that is something I'm reserving judgment because I don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
But you know what? I could see now how you keep saying, like, the show is almost like a new watch for you. Like, you see things that but, like, I feel like even the books, because I watched the show first, the books feel like a new read, because it's just, you don't know, like, it's not the same thing. Like, you see the essence of certain things are still there, but like, it feels like very different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but they do, like, they get to the same place. They get to the same place. Yeah. Book 1, though, you were saying?
Book one and season 1, I do feel like there was a good amount of similarities.
Yeah, they were much closer, I think. Yeah. This one, like, they are, like I said, I think I said this to you last time. Book 4 apparently is going to be much tighter. This one is not as tight, like, because they're merging these two books together. But
well, there's certain things in season 2 that I think I probably could see happening in book 3. Like meeting Moiraine's sister and her nephew and finding out he's a dark friend. And
do you remember her nephew's name?
No.
Okay. I'm just going to put her nephew's name in the show is Barthanes. Do you remember Barthanes from the book?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Was he an innkeeper? No.
No, he's not an innkeeper.
What was he? Was he that they did go to his party?
They went to his party. Yeah. He was the party that they went to where all the ladies were throwing themselves at Rand.
Yes. It was his
Yeah.
house. Oh, yes.
Yes.
And he was a dark
Yes.
friend.
He was a dark friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they never say that that's Moiraine's nephew.
No, he's older. Like he's an older man. He's not Moiraine's nephew in the book. So
that makes
the
it
one
different.
That is very different. I'm just letting you know about that because that's there. I will say just pay attention. Moiraine's last name is Damodred. You're going to hear that name come up because Moiraine is related to important people. So that is just they said her name in the show, and I know you're not great with names, but that's just her name is Moiraine Damodred. It is
Damodred.
Yeah, it is an important name. So yes. Okay. So you can see that. What other things can you maybe think might happen in book 3?
I mean, Moiraine losing her powers. The fuck? That was stressful. That was very stressful.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to decide what to tell you or not.
Yeah, tell me.
Okay. That doesn't happen in the book.
I'm not surprised by that though, because they did the whole love story as well, and they did. She got her powers the next season. I know it was far into the next season, but it must have been something in the plot that they had to work into for some reason, whatever.
Well, okay, this is what this is not unique to me. People who had read the books got to the end of season 1 and it was like, they took her power away. Why would they do that? Because she has to. And then we all went, oh, that's why they did that. Because in book 2, Moiraine is barely in book 2. Like
100%, I agree. Right? I was going to say that. I was like, I completely get now why you always said you never paid attention to Moiraine that much.
Yeah. She's not even, and she's Rosamund motherfucking Pike. Like she's the most famous name on the show. You can't.
So she has to be,
Yeah. So like the minute it happened, like my brain was like, what? That's so, of course. They need something for her to do. They need something for her to do.
Yeah.
You can't remove Moiraine from the show. Like she's on every single poster. She's Rosamund Pike. Like So
no, I completely get that. And it does make sense why they then had to make that Lord her nephew and like pull her in there and like tie her in, like thread her in different spots. That does make sense.
Yeah. Just to make her and like I said, she is like once you know her name and you start seeing she is literally related to very, very important people in the story. So it does like that isn't made up. Like or I shouldn't say because they are Barthanes isn't her nephew in the book, but I mean it's not like they just made that up out of nothing. They were like, well, this is actually true in the books that Moiraine is like related to pretty much anybody important, so they can do that without making it. It's just a fact in the books. So yeah, and then there's the relationship between her and Lan. I think that conflict that they had in season 2 was built out of like one of Moiraine's only scenes in book 2, which was her basically testing Lan. Like she's like, I'm gonna pass your bond off to somebody without.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And it's like a scene. Their one main scene in the book is about their conflict, and so I think they just took that and made it a bigger thing. Yeah,
I do wonder if Lan would ever somehow become Nynaeve's warder. Me.
I mean, they are setting them up.
Moiraine would have to die.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I guess.
Or something would have to break. Something would have to, I don't understand the full, I don't know if you could just trade warders. I don't know how that works.
Trade warder. Like wife swapping? Yeah.
A bit weird.
I mean, I am not saying nothing.
You're not saying nothing. That's grammatically not making sense.
I will say not a thing. There we go. Is that better? Is that better?
Much better. English teacher.
Okay. Well, the other big thing that happens in this season that I want to hear your thoughts on in this book and this season, comparison thoughts. What happened with Egwene and Rhaena? Like, that was a huge deal in the show.
It was worse in the show.
Yeah.
It was bad in the books. It was bad, and I didn't like it. I wouldn't have liked it reading it, but in the show,
yeah. Yeah, it's a very weird thing to me. Like, okay, this is my experience in reading the books. I always thought that her enslavement took place over several books. And I would say that. And then it wasn't until I was talking about it in a video, like on my channel, that I realized, oh, it's only a couple of chapters. But in my brain, it's huge, right? And then it's very weird. In the books, she's enslaved for about 2.5, maybe 3 months. Like, it's a really, really long time. It's horrible. In the show, it feels like it goes by faster, and yet it feels worse. I think because in the book, a lot of the horror of it happens off screen. Like, Egwene is telling about it after the fact. Whereas in the show,
Yeah. And seeing it, fucking hate that D-I-C-T-H. Fucking hate her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's some ways that she could die.
Okay,
anyways,
that's another thing, because in the show, she dies. Egwene kills her.
Yeah.
In the book,
kill this bitch.
No.
They don't fucking kill her.
No.
I was pretty upset. They were like, oh, something, you don't want to do that. Yes, I do.
No, it's bad for your soul to kill somebody.
What? It's good for your soul to get equal. To stand up for yourself.
Okay, you were talking last time.
Me, I'll fuck with you.
In book 1, you were talking about how you understood the philosophy of the traveling people. They say things like, if an axe cuts a tree, the tree is hurt by the axe, but the axe is also dulled by the tree.
When it comes to Rhaena. Fuck that shit. That bitch needs to die.
Okay, but there's also, she's going to be found by somebody wearing that collar. And this is a difference in the magic system from the books to the show. In the show, she's just a really, really weak channeler. Whereas in the books, did you catch the difference there?
I didn't know in the show she was a channeler. I caught it in the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the show, Egwene says that, at the end, she's like, you're just, the reason that you cannot be a damane is because you're a really weak channeler. You can channel, you're really weak. Yeah. Whereas in the book, there's a difference between people who are born and people who can learn.
Yeah.
But people who can learn can still be really powerful channelers.
Yeah.
They just have to be taught, right? Yeah. And so Rhaena is going to get found with that collar, and they're going to realize that she can channel. So she might get, it's very likely she's going to be enslaved.
Good. Yeah. I hope she has a very nasty, whatever they call them, whatever.
Yeah. Soldam. Yeah.
Soldam.
Yes. That's what Nynaeve was saying, though. This is the difference between justice and vengeance. And she says, men often confuse justice and vengeance. Right?
Fine.
You are confusing justice and vengeance right now.
I agree. True. Put her in that collar. Make her get a taste of her own medicine. But I would torture that bitch. I would be me.
Yeah, you would want to be. I mean, she did do that for a couple of, maybe a minute or so. She did that.
No. I would call her my pet. I don't know what I would do. Anyways.
I do not enjoy, yes. I mean, it's all gross. It's very disgusting. And you're right. I fully agree with you. I think it was more visceral in the show. It's terrible.
Yeah, completely. I prefer the display of, not that I like them, but I prefer how better the what's they're called? The people from away?
Seanchan?
The Seanchan are in the book than in the movie, in the show.
I
feel like they the way they show like the Seanchan in the show, they seem like puppets to the dark ones.
Okay.
In the show, whereas in the book, they seem like they are like, don't fuck with us. Like
Right,
we
right.
are, like, you know, like I thought that was.
They seem more
you know,
powerful to you in the books.
Yeah. Whereas
Okay,
they just seem like little puppets that the dark, like, you know.
Yeah. I think
Josh,
I think the reason that you're having a like perspective, because that's something I honestly would never have thought of, but I know that that's because I'm coming at the show with my book brain. I think the reason you're thinking that is because the only Seanchan we ever really spend any time with,
one guy,
is the one Suroth who is a puppet of, like, she is a dark friend, right? So she is doing what, whereas the other Seanchan we never really see, but they're horrible people, but they're not like capital E evil, like they're not following the dark one kind of thing. So yeah. That's it. That's interesting.
Okay.
I would never have thought of that, but you're right, because we only spent time with the one who's like, whatever you say, like,
Yeah.
Did you find, because that is another, like, one of the things the show has had to do, I think partially because you can't, like, Egwene sitting there and telling somebody what happened, as like, that would feel like a weird scene, like, instead of actually showing it. So the show has to show us things. That is another difference between the way the Seanchan are depicted in the show. Like, the show showed us the horrifying things that the Seanchan did, like with Uno being spiked. That doesn't happen in the books, but in the book, all of the horrible things the Seanchan did, they did off screen. Like, there's that one scene where, like, there's a burned patch on the ground that Huron vomits when he smells it or something. Like, that's like,
oh yeah,
that's the hint of how horrifying they are.
Yeah.
So you're about to say
Sniffer in the show.
No,
they had. I like him.
He is a delight. They like just had Elias do his thing. Like, they actually called Elias a sniffer in the show.
Yes. And then, like, they basically got rid of that character, and then also they make Perrin the guy who could see his. They gave that power instead of that's Rand's thing in the book. So
Rand's thing. Oh, with the flies, you mean?
Yeah. Where he could, like, see what happened.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this just because it's a weird thing. Like, that sort of thing never happens to Rand again. Like, it only happens that one time, and it was apparently a trap left for him. Like, this, and it, like, the reason I'm telling you is because Robert Jordan actually had to explain this because it left people confused. It was a trap set by either Lanfear or Padan Fain. I can't remember, but it's not. It's not in the books. It's not an ability. It's a trap that was set for him that he was supposed to get caught in, and he didn't get caught. He pulled himself out of it.
Okay.
Whereas in the books, they had that same scene, but they used it to show us Perrin's power.
Yeah.
So
okay.
The reason I wouldn't normally tell you things like that, but, like, you know, these books were written over a long period of time, and some of the things, like, Robert Jordan was figuring out how his magic system worked. So there are things that happen in the early books that don't happen later. Like, he was just like, probably later on was like, that wasn't interesting. I'm going to do something else. Yeah. The horn, obviously, like, in the book, the horn, like, they are hunting for the horn. It is really, really strong. You understand what they're doing. You understand why they're doing it. And it's really amazing when it happens. Yeah. That is not clear in the show, I think.
I was trying to rack my brain about the horn in the show. I was like, where were they? I know that in the beginning, I remember, like, Perrin went off looking for it. And then at some point, Loyal had it. Like, I was, like, so confused. I was like, I have to rewatch the season because I'm like, it really wasn't that big deal. Yeah. It felt like it was like a sport. It didn't feel like it was.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it was, you know?
Yeah. It's something that I find interesting when I watch reactions from people who haven't read the books, if they understand it, because I don't think the show was strong on it. I do still think, because it landed with you, like, the moment where Matt blows the horn, I think it still lands. Like, people still feel the impact of it, but I don't think they understand it.
In the books, Matt doesn't show that Matt was a hero.
He's not. They changed it.
Oh.
Yeah. They changed that for the show.
Made me love Matt in the show.
Yeah. I like, I don't think it doesn't change anything for the story, and I think it works for like they had to change a lot of the writing of the show because of what happened with the actor. Like
Yeah.
one of the big changes they made, like they didn't, I don't think they initially planned to have everybody separate at the beginning of the season, because that's not how the book starts. Like the book starts with them together and then they split up. But because
Yeah.
Matt wasn't there, they were like, well, we can't have them together and not
Again,
because Matt's already missing, so we need a reason. Like, so that's why they started the season with them split up, because there was no way to get Matt to them in a way that felt right. So they had to get them split up so Matt could join them properly. But because of that, I think the moment with the horn and him feeling like finding out that he was a hero really works because of the reason it made you want to cry is because you felt so bad for Matt. Like he abandoned his friends and then he abandoned them again. And then he was forced to abandon, so finding out that he's a hero, I think works for the show. In the books, he's not, but he's very heroic. Like he fights really well in that moment. So yeah. No,
that's true.
Okay, well, I want to know your thoughts about the flicker scene. That's one of my favorite scenes in the book. And the whole mirror world, like that doesn't happen in the show. Like all of that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, in the book, it was quite good. The flicker scene. Yeah. It was it was interesting to see all of his potential other lives. Or were they lives that actually happened?
I feel like they are potential lives in other in other universes. Like, right, that's what the portal stone takes you to. It takes you to, it's like, the multiverse from Marvel. I think that's what it was like. That there is a line in the show that I'm very like I don't know how they included it, where Rand says to Ishamael, I've never served you, I know that. In the book, that line works to me because of flicker. Like in every single other life, he knows I never served the Dark One. So if you tell me I served you, like, I don't believe you. You're the father of lies. I know that I never did.
Yeah, that's very true.
Whereas in the show, I don't know what the basis of Rand saying that is. Like, how do you know that? Like, you have no memory of this. So
yeah, I did like it. I mean, I like the whole book. I thought that scene. You see, what I also wonder is, I don't know how people read it. It's very nice to hear it read to me. Like, and they know the emphasis. Like, I don't know if I just would have been like, flicker. That's annoyingly repetitive.
Yes.
Like, and the way the audiobook goes is, she speeds up when you're supposed to be sped up. Down when and I don't know if I would have known that. Like, and I remember when I was listening to it, I was like, thank God I'm listening to the audiobook. It makes everything so different. Also, another part about the audiobook that I don't know how it would be if I was reading it is the accents. I don't know if I would have known to have an American accent.
Okay. First of all, tell me if you don't want this in there. Like, but the way you spelled Ingtar just made me laugh because you were spelling it the way a British person says his name. I was just like, oh, that's Rosamund Pike. You spell it Ingtah or something. Inktah.
Like
Ingtah.
Like not Ingtar. I didn't know that.
Yes.
The R is just out there. Like, I didn't know that at all. Ingtah.
Yeah, exactly. About the accents. Okay, if you do get to the point where like you are going to listen to the other narrators, they don't do an American accent for the Seanchan, because Robert Jordan did not tell them that was the accent that he chose.
I figured something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Robert, like, he did start, people started asking him in, like, book signings and stuff. And so it is known that is the accent that he wanted. He wanted them to have a Southern, like, American accent. But the original narrators didn't know that. So they just, like, they read the description of their accent, which was slurred and slightly slow. So they made up an accent, which I think is great. Like, it works really well, but it's one of those things of, oh, it's an advantage that Rosamund Pike has that they didn't have. Where he just gave them the text and was like, read it. Like, there you go. So there's that. She also sings. They don't sing. She, like, there's one song is it in this book? There's one song where she like sings with harmonies. Like maybe
remember.
It might be in the next book. There you go. You have a point where she will like actually sing the songs. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh. Okay, it's the first thing in the book, so it's probably been a while. I'm only bringing this up because people were mad at me that I didn't ask you about this originally. The prologue to the book. It's that whole thing with the man who calls himself Bors, and he's in that meeting with Balzaban, and he's like looking around and any thoughts about that? Anything that jumped out at you or was interesting to you about that?
Well, they did the foreshot. They basically did the it's been a while, but they did. Isn't that part where they do they basically say there's going to be a wolf, a boy with a dagger, and the dragon reborn. They basically say all the
boys.
prediction.
Yeah.
I can't really remember everything else though. I can't. It's been so long. Remind me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's the first scene in the book, so I get it. It's but there's a man. He calls himself Bors. All he's doing during that whole meeting is looking around at what everybody's wearing and pulling out their clues. This is one of those moments where I think the show did a brilliant job because again, you can't do that in the show because it's all in his head. Like he's just like, that's an Aes Sedai. She's wearing silk, and that's a traveling person.
Okay, yeah.
Like that's all happening in his head. In the show, they had that little girl go under the table, and she's looking at everybody's dresses, and having it be from a child.
What that scene was.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think having a child's perspective in that moment is the only way you could do that because that's who else is like going to be looking at everybody's skirts, like.
Oh yeah, I forgot that scene in the show too.
Yeah, it's the very first scene in the season. So again, it's going back in the past. But anyway, people were like, Jenny, why didn't you ask her about that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So okay. Let's see. We talked about Moiraine and the testing. Nynaeve's test.
So much better in the show. So much better in the show. The show nailed that. Broke my heart. Pulled it out. It was insane. Yeah, the book.
It's fine.
It was something. Yeah, it was something. It was something. Yeah. But the show broke me.
Yeah. Do you remember when you asked me about that and I told you I liked it better in the show? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. 100% better in the show. 100% better in the show.
Yeah.
There are things that the show does do better for sure.
Yeah. Especially for me in her testing in the books, the first test and the last test, the middle test works for me. The middle one worked for me, whereas the first one and the last one in the books, I'm like, Whereas in the show, the first one broke my heart, and then the last one really, really broke my heart. Like,
killed me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That was hard to watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the books, it was something. There was something there, and I get it, and it was a test for sure, but like, definitely the show.
Harder, yeah.
That was like, whoa. And then also her like channeling in the show was more like more of a thing, whereas in the books it wasn't as much of a thing. I don't think.
Yeah, I think this is one of those things where there's a weird. I don't envy the way the writers of the show have to do this because Nynaeve, like, it is in the books. She has a block. Something makes it hard for her to channel. Right. Yeah. But in the books, you can spend so much more time with her. So you can have her channel sometimes and then most of the time not be able to channel, but she can channel more. Whereas in the show, you kind of have to have her just in order to show her block. She can't do it, which is very frustrating once you've seen her do it. You're like, come on. Like that there's I don't know. I don't envy them because I don't know how you decide when to have her break it and when to have her not be able to, like. Yeah. It's a whole thing. Thank you so much for talking to me about this. You are free.
Thank you. Thank you, Jenny.
You do know I am not the boss of you, right? Like, I appreciate it. I am incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly grateful that you waited, but
it's the fact that your avatar doesn't squint like you squint when you laugh and smile.
Yeah,
I know. Work on that avatar. Because right now you're smiling really big and your eyes are still wide open. The avatar is closing it a bit. But you see when I smile,
Yeah.
that goes away,
that's what happens to my eyes. Yeah. Yeah, they don't squint as
your
much.
avatar needs to do better.
I don't know how to. I can make it happen.
No, but it needs to happen when you laugh and smile.
Exactly. All right. I will work on that.
Point of improvement. There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, you are, like I said, free to move on to. I feel so weird saying you have my permission to read the book.
Thank you, Jenny.
I know. I'm a very benevolent older sister. See?
Oh, I would say malevolent.
Look what I could do with my fingers. Wait, no, that's the wrong finger.
Oh, there it goes. It works now.
Yes,
on one hand, it's working.
Fuck, I'll just do that one hand.
That is okay.
Well, love you.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, I'll end the recording now.
Let you know if I have any more predictions.
All right, there you have it. That was the conversation between me and my sister talking about The Great Hunt. And okay, I'm just going to tell you, editing this, I realized a big question I forgot to ask her. I forgot to ask her about the final battle scene. I will try to remember that later. I've already sent her a message, so hopefully that will let her know to remember her thoughts on it. I can't believe I forgot. Anyway, it'll come up again though, because I have questions for her, like when she's finished book 3. Like talking about the comparison between the battles at the end of books 1, 2, and 3, because it's the same. Anyway, all of that to say, I will ask her in the future, but I can't believe I forgot. Like I don't know why that slipped my mind. Brain fog. It's still the brain fog, I guess. But yeah. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. What do you think about the Egwen and Brenna thing? My sister has very, very strong feelings on that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like my content and you want to support me, I do have a Patreon that is also linked in the description below. Thank you, as always, to my patrons. I said it in the last video, but I mean it. Like, especially right now, as I've been going through all this just weird, stupid, very frustrating, debilitating health stuff. It has meant so much to me knowing that there are people who appreciate what I do with this channel and want to support me. So from my heart, I thank you so much. And with that, I am going to end this here. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.